Hi, this is Kenty Can. My guest today is Mr. Nanesh Kotak, founder of the prestigious law firm Kotak Personal Injury Law, your trusted disability claim lawyers. With 25 years' experience as a legal practitioner, Nanesh brings passion and excellence in serving the needs of all of his clients. We are always privileged to welcome Nanesh Kotak as a guest on our show, as he shares a wealth of information on personal injury and disability law with our viewers in a way that is clear enough for all of us to understand. Nanesh, as always, welcome to our show.
It's my pleasure, thank you.
It's always good to see you and always good to have you. And, you know, let me say, you've got to be justifiably proud of Kotak Personal Injury Law, voted Mississauga's best personal injury law firm 12 years running. You serve Mississauga, Brampton, Toronto, you serve all of Ontario. And as I said, you've got to be proud of the prestige in which your clients and the community at large hold your law firm in.
Well, thank you so much for that very kind introduction. You know, we have a philosophy at our firm. We care and we communicate with our clients. And we always strive for excellent results. We strive for excellence. We strive to get people's cases done quickly. And I think we do a pretty good job about it.
Kotak Personal Injury Law specializes in disability law, personal injury law. Take a minute to summarize for our viewers the areas in which your expertise falls.
Right. So let me talk first about disability law. We represent clients who have been denied long-term or short-term disability claims. And these could be claims through a group insurance or a private insurance policy with a company. And disabilities could arise from both physical and mental illness. So we represent if clients have their benefits terminated or denied, and we sue the insurance company, and we work to get either reinstatement or a very significant settlement. In line with that, we also help clients with their CPP disability claim. Because usually if a person has a long-term disability claim, they have to make a Canada Pension Plan disability claim as well, and we assist with that. In terms of personal injury, we assist clients if they've been seriously injured in car accidents, and these could be physical or mental injuries as well. And we look for cases, and where I think we're most effective is where we can see income loss. So where the people, if they're injured and they can't work to the capacity that they did before. We also help people who have been injured in slip and falls, and you know, in the wintertime we're seeing some quite horrific injuries, particularly orthopedic injuries to the ankles and to the knees when people fall down due to a failure of cleaning of ice or salting of the roads.
Many of us, and I don't know, maybe you can tell me, I look at it sometimes with great interest, you know.
Yes.
There is a plethora of disability claim lawyers. I mean, we see the advertisements, you know, people are constantly talking about disability and personal injury claims. Is there a lot more of this happening, or have people become more aware of their rights to redress?
Right. I mean, I can't speak about what others do, but I can say this. When it comes to disability claims, really what happens is most people don't even know they have a right to sue. So they'll get a denial from an insurance company. It doesn't matter who it is, Sun Life, Great West Life, Manulife, it doesn't matter. And a lot of times they're discouraged, and they're told there's an internal appeal process. You could appeal internally, which inevitably comes back to the same result as a no. And many people walk away, not even realizing that they could sue and force the insurance company to reinstate.
They go with the internal appeal process.
Exactly, instead. So I don't know if honestly there's been an increase in claims. I think, in fact, when it comes to the car accident claims, it's actually declined because the legislation is so prohibitive in terms of allowing people to be able to collect money if they're injured. So you're actually probably finding less claims.
Now, well, given that people need redress in these areas, then they've got to start thinking if they have, or if they believe they have cause to seek redress in a court of law.
Right.
How do they look? What is it that they look for in getting legal representation?
Right. So I can look at it two ways, I think. How do you know which lawyer to go to? And again, I mentioned sort of at the beginning the two C's. Look for communication. Because human beings, that's how we interact with each other. We communicate, verbally and non-verbally, that's how we communicate. The next thing is caring. You find a lawyer, a law firm that is going to talk to you and listen to you, and is going to explain things to you and take the time to do that. But you also want to feel that they really care about your case, that they're going to make your case a priority for them, and they're going to work hard on your case. Look, obviously law firms are busy and they have many cases, but you only have one case. So you want to feel that, you know, that you're getting the attention you need. So I look at it this way. Certainly look at websites, look at reviews, look at how much authority that lawyer has. What's their experience in making a decision?
Now, given the fact that a client has made a choice,
Yes.
and in their mind an educated choice as to what lawyer or what law firm to choose,
Right.
what is it that determines whether you or your law firm takes a case?
Right. So it's a very good point. You know, we don't take every case that comes to us. We work on what's called a contingency basis, and that is we don't get paid unless we recover money for the client. So we are selective, but we will give everyone a meeting and an intake and go over the case and see if it's one where we feel we can get them significant redress, get them significant damages, and then we will take those cases. Serious injuries or a disability claim that obviously has merit. Yes.
Well, I want to move on to an area that will give certainly myself and our viewers a sense of what happens during a lawsuit, during a claim process. Only because I think we all feel that these things take too long. The court is blocked up with many of these claims, in addition to all the other things that they have to handle.
Yes.
But there must be some things that happen. So I'll ask you to take us through what happens when a client comes to you with a potential claim.
Right.
Please stay with us. We'll be right back with my guest, Mr. Nanesh Kotak, who is founder of the prestigious law firm Kotak Personal Injury Law. We'll be right back. Welcome back with my guest, Nanesh Kotak, founder of the prestigious law firm Kotak Personal Injury Law. Well, Nanesh, as we were saying before we went on break, there are all kinds of claims and all kinds of reasons that people have to seek redress. And now they've found their legal representation. And somebody has come to Kotak Personal Injury Law and they've got a potential claim.
Right.
I want you to take us through. So sort of demystify the process for our viewers who, some people may be thinking, you know, I may have something that, but these things take long and I have to find information that I don't have or I have to dig it up. Take us through the process. What happens when somebody, and you can choose an example of a particular kind of claim, but take us through. What happens when a claim comes to your attention?
Right. So first I'll talk generally in terms of litigation, what happens, and then I'll sort of narrow it to what we do and how quickly we move our cases through. So once a lawyer is retained to work on a case, it could be a dispute over property, a family law dispute, it might be a debt, or it could be an injury case. It's litigation. So normally what happened, the lawyer will do a letter on behalf of the client, and that client is called the plaintiff. That is the person who is suing. So they'll do a letter to the potential defendant or their insurance company that this claim is going to happen, please contact us. Mm-hmm. So in an insurance situation, the person will have their insurance company contact the lawyer, and if it's a private matter, maybe they will retain a lawyer to contact the plaintiff's lawyer. There'll be then a series of letters that go back and forth in terms of requesting documentation. Okay, you're saying you have this claim, where's your proof? And there'll be initial documentation that may go back and forth between lawyers or between the plaintiff's lawyer and an insurance company. And at some point in time, a demand will be made, okay, do you want to pay this claim? Do you want to settle this claim? And if it's an insurance company or if it's a private defendant and they say, no, we're not going to pay, or we're not going to pay as much as the person feels is reasonable, a lawsuit will be commenced. And it's commenced by way of what's called a statement of claim. A statement of claim is really a legal document that sets out the facts. It sets out what you're asking for and the facts behind it. Then the defendant will have 20 days.
This statement of claim goes to whom?
It will go to the defendant. And it's filed in court.
So it is filed, yes.
It's filed in court. The defendant then will have 20 days to respond with what's called a statement of defense. Mm-hmm. Usually we give them longer than that because it's called a waiver, and they get the claim, they might want some more information still. But let's say, for example, still doesn't settle, a statement of defense is filed. The usual next process is what's called an examination for discovery. There'll be an affidavit of documents. An affidavit of documents essentially is just, these are all the documents we have in support of our case, and both sides exchange that information. At an examination for discovery, both the plaintiff, the person suing, and the person defending are examined under oath. It's kind of like what you see on TV in the United States, the deposition.
Does this happen in a court?
Somewhat, no. It's in a private facility. Present will be a court reporter recording everything, the two lawyers.
So it's all legal in that sense?
Okay. Everything's recorded. And during the examination for discovery, the lawyer will ask the other side questions about the case, and as long as they're relevant, they should be answered. They'll also ask for documentation in support of the claim. And for example, if it's an injury claim, they'll ask for medical records from particular doctors that go back a certain period of time to see if the injury is the same as before. The examination for discovery could take a day, usually between the two plaintiff and defendant. It's about 2 days, but they could be shorter and they could be longer as well.
It depends on the kind of claim.
On the case. After the examination for discovery is completed, what's called undertakings will be completed. So at the discovery, an undertaking may well be, could you provide me a medical document from Dr. X from this time? So these undertakings will be completed between the two sides. There may be a disagreement over the undertakings, and then that has to go before a judge on what's called a motion to decide is that relevant or not.
At the same time?
No, that'll be a notice of
Sometime in the
motion is
future?
filed, and the judge will rule on whether or not that was reasonable. So let's assume the undertakings are fulfilled. The next step usually is what's called a mediation. Now, mediation is extremely important, particularly in the area of areas of practice that we do, disability law. That's how we move our cases forward very quickly, is we agree on a mutual mediator that we both respect and understand their credentials. So at a mediation, a brief will be filed beforehand. Both parties will file a brief, their argument, and their supporting documents. The mediator will explain the case. Then the lawyer for the plaintiff will go first and talk about the case and why it's worth a certain amount of money. The defendant's lawyer will then speak about why it's not. The parties will separate into different rooms, and they'll negotiate. And in our cases, for example, disability cases, there'll be offers back and forth until the parties either reach an agreement or they don't. This is where the mediator is important, because it's very hard to agree on a number.
The mediators specialize in this kind of work?
Absolutely. They have a very important role. I encourage most litigation should go through the mediation process. The case, 50% may settle at mediation. On disability cases, it's quite a bit more. Probably 70-75% will settle at the mediation. If it doesn't, the case will proceed. It'll be set down for trial. About a year or so later, you'll have a pre-trial with a judge who will go over administrative procedures for the trial, length of trial, how many witnesses, how many documents, and make a last-ditch effort to try to settle the case. If it doesn't, a few months later, could be another year later, hopefully not, you'll have a trial. And a civil trial, the problem with civil means a non-criminal. It's a lawsuit over something. They tend to take a long time. And you're looking in personal injury cases about 4 to 6 weeks of a trial. It's very expensive. So that's why you'll find most cases, in fact, do settle before trial. In our area of work, really the long-term disability, personal injury cases take a little bit longer, but the long-term disability cases, what we do, I think what makes us different. As soon as we get the case, we issue our lawsuit quickly against the insurance company. They have an internal in-house lawyer who then will talk to us, and we schedule the mediation very quickly, because we try to get these cases settled in the first year, because we know people are without money. Ordinarily, a lawsuit could take 4 years, 5 years. And we know our clients don't want that. They have legitimate cases and they need their money sooner. And we work towards that.
Very, very thorough explanation, but I got a little small question on that, particularly relevant to our viewers and my audience. But I'll ask you that when we come back after this break. Please stay with us. My guest is Nanesh Kotak, founder of Kotak Personal Injury Law, and we're talking all things regarding personal and disability law. Please stay with us. Welcome back with Nanesh Kotak, founder of the prestigious law firm Kotak Personal Injury Law. Well, here's a question for you, Nanesh. Many of my viewers, many people watching this show, I certainly understand, and I know they have understood how you explain the process involved in bringing this lawsuit together. But I have to ask this. Do we have to be scared of this? Does this go through, as you say, do I have to worry about anybody else saying that I've got this in against them and so on? Do I have any misgivings about doing all of this?
Okay. I mean, it's human nature to, I think, sometimes avoid what people feel is confrontation. Okay. But I'll put the context in the area of law that I practice, disability and personal injury law. So we're dealing with insurance companies. The defendant in a personal injury case may be an individual, but who's defending them and who's paying is an insurance company. Okay. So I think there'd be more to worry about if you walk away. Let's give an example, a long-term disability case. So a person has been paid benefits for 6 months, maybe 2 years, and then the insurance company says, hey, guess what? We think you can do a different job. And are you going to walk away? So that's the choice. If you don't want to step into that litigation process, you could walk away, but what do you achieve? So sometimes I think it's better to put that burden, it's really an emotional and mental burden, to somebody else, the lawyer. Let that lawyer deal with that burden for you and sue the right people and get a good result.
Get a good result.
Yeah.
A particular area that is of concern to many viewers and to the public at large, mental health issues. I would imagine that this forms quite a large percentage of the kind of disability claims that you handle. Talk to us about the context of mental health in disability claims.
Right. You're absolutely right. I think quite a few, I would say even maybe the majority of disability cases that I have that are really prolonged, where the person really cannot work at any type of job, have some element of a mental illness aspect, whether it's anxiety or the depression or panic attacks. I see this very often. And we really need to take a step back and not stigmatize these type of claims. Because the truth is, 1 in 5 Canadians at some point in their life will suffer from mental illness. It may be a panic attack, it may be depression. Sometimes it goes away and sometimes it in fact stays. There are so many lost hours at work because of mental illness, because of panic attacks. I'll give you some examples, some cases that I have. I often see incidents starting at a workplace. The person has superiors, they can't get along with coworkers, they feel they're making fun of them or are making too much demands of them. And every day they go into work and now they have dread and stress. Their stomach is in knots because of this. They're feeling upset. And eventually they stop working. Now, this could be situational, but quite often what I see is now it develops into a full-blown anxiety disorder. So the person is at home. And maybe the insurance company says, okay, well, you can't maybe go back to this particular floor at your work, this particular job, but why can't you do something else? And what I'm often seeing is now this anxiety, the person feels it about any work environment where they have to deal with other people. It becomes ingrained. And often, I'm seeing cases where people have had mental illness in the past. Maybe they had issues as growing up as children, they might have been bullied, and they've gotten over it, so to speak. They were able to function, able to get jobs and do very well. But then something happens at work, another trauma, and then they start to relive their old trauma again, and then it becomes debilitating. And 2018, I believe it was May, they had Mental Health Awareness Month. And it's so important that I think we do that every year. It is the invisible illness that employers or insurance companies there is a better recognition now, I must say, but oftentimes on an individual level, they look at someone, well, you look physically well. You smiled today. I saw your Facebook page. They don't know what's going on inside that person. And often what's going on inside that person is turmoil, depression, dread, a sense of dread. And I think as a society, and certainly my firm, we look at this. We look upon ourselves to help people in those situations. It's so important.
We see all of this, and we talk about the great work that the firm does, and your expertise and your passion in handling this kind of stuff. But it's also important, and I think I'd like this to be mentioned, it's important for our viewers to know and the community to know that you do pay attention to the community in which you served. You have agreements and sponsorships with the Brampton Beast hockey team and Spectra Services and the Kotak Military Day, Appreciation Day. Give us a sense of your community involvement. I know you in your humility, you don't like to talk about these things too much, but just give us a sense of the things that you help out with.
Sure. Look, I've always believed as an individual and as a corporation, there's a karmic duty to give back to society, to lend a hand and help people in need and pull them up so they can then help themselves down the road. So there's a couple of charities and nonprofit groups that I'm very passionate about. One is Wounded Warriors Canada, and they help soldiers who are wounded. They help family members those who have fallen. They help the family, and also soldiers who've gone through PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I have a passion for supporting them. There's the Peel Children's Center. They support children with mental health challenges and their families and youth throughout the Peel.
It's a crisis center.
Well, more so than that, they actually work with families for many years, making sure that the children are reintegrated back into society and adapt very well. And the challenges could be major, they could be very minor, but they do such a fantastic job. So that's another organization that I support. In fact, I'm a board member on that organization. Spectra Community Support Services, they're a crisis line to help adults. They have an elder abuse program, and as well as youth and disadvantaged people. I'm a vice chair actually on the board there, and I also donate to them as well. And the Military Appreciation Days when we bring 1,000
wonderful
troops.
day.
Yeah, it is.
You're a sponsor to the Brampton Sports Hall of Fame.
Yes, that's correct. So it's recognizing sports figures and builders. Builders meaning those who have helped train others, whether it's lacrosse, swimming, soccer, hockey. And what I do is I bring them out to our box suite at the Brampton Beast game and pay for everybody's food and drink and recognize them for what they've done. Yeah.
I'd like to also ask you to take a minute and let our viewers know that it's relatively simple if they need the help of your firm to come and deal with you. You don't have to think about having a major outlay. They just need to bring the facts to you and you can take it away. Talk about your contingency fee basis and the kind of staff that you have that can help all kinds of clients in their claims.
Sure. I think we are a small firm, but we're a very effective firm. There's 3 lawyers, 5 law clerks, paralegals, plus other support staff. And what we do is we have an initial meeting. So a person could call in. We have an intake clerk who will go over with them, the client or potential client, what the situation is. And if it's a case we could take, we have an initial meeting. They have a coffee. We take all the facts. We make a decision, a mutual decision, will we take the case. And for the cases we take, we only get paid if the person gets paid. So there's really very little risk for the client. Yeah.
Nanesh, I want to thank you as always for coming in and sharing your thoughts with us. This is a really interesting area of law, and it's an area of law that so many of us need. And Kotak Personal Injury Law, Mississauga's best personal injury law firm, 12 years running. We thank you for the kind of service you give to us, not only in terms of your legal clients, but also the kind of work you do putting back into the community. Thank you for coming in, sir.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
My guest has been Nanesh Kotak, founder of the law firm Kotak Personal Injury Law. For the Asian Television Network, I'm Kenty Khan.